Money Talks.
Money Talk.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Hi, my name is Ibukun Oyedeji, President CFA Society Nigeria. Join me and a host of other financial industry practitioners for Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria.
Money Talks.
Money Talk.
Money Talks. Money Talks.
Money Talks with CFA Society Nigeria. Let's talk about money. Hello everyone and welcome to Money Talks. Money Talks is brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria and is a financial literacy program. Smart. Uzechi is my name. You can call me Captain Smart and you'll be financially correct. Today, my guest on the program is Oler Oladele. You know her as Ola. Yeah, she's shocked. When way back in time, way back home. Oler Oladele, CFA, is a BSc accounting graduate from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, with over 16 years of experience in finance. She began her career as a securities dealer at Kakawa Discount House and later transitioned through various financial institutions, rising to executive leadership roles. Ola is a CFA charter holder and a member of the CFA Society Nigeria. She's an IFC LPS certified trainer and an alumnus of the Oxford Executive Leadership Program. In addition, she serves on the faculty of Tekedia Mini MBA and Joseph Business School, Lagos. Her expertise is in investment strategy, personal financial planning, financial literacy, financial market, economic analysis, and leveraging media for financial education. Her insights on personal finance, investing, and the economy have been featured on prestigious platforms such as BBC Africa, CNBC, Arise News, and Channels Television. She has also graced the front page of Guardian Woman and Her Network. In 2021, she was recognized as one of the 9 to 5 Chic Top 100 Career Women in Nigeria. And in 2024, she received the Global Entrepreneurs Award. And this evening, Ola and I will be talking about empowering women to build wealth. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our guests on the program this evening, Oler Oladele, CFA.
Thank you, Captain Smart. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to have you again. Ola has been here before and time and again. So she's no stranger to this studio, not to the CFA studios and not to IFM studios as well. So it's good to have you. Welcome. How have you been?
Very good. And you?
Very well, thank God. We'll be talking about empowering women to build wealth. So you can join the conversation anytime by calling the telephone number 0700-923-923-923. That's 0700-923-923-923. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp 0817-313-6193. You can also call the WhatsApp number as well 0817-313-6193, or just send us a voice note there or perhaps a WhatsApp message. Keep your messages short, simple and straight to the point, and voice notes under 45 seconds will be very well appreciated. So Ola, let's get to it. I mean, there's been this advocacy there, empower women, because they say if you empower a woman, you empower the whole community. People don't want women to be dependent so much on men and all of that. So can you tell us, why is it so important for women to focus on wealth building, especially very early in their lives?
Once again, thank you for having me. Now, to answer your question, the first thing I would highlight, which I think applies to everyone, is that we all generally would work from when we're 20 till about when we're 60. And then at 60, we will most likely retire for most people. But the reality is that the money that you make between 20 and 60 is what's supposed to fund you post-retirement, right? And for as long as you live. Now, when you consider data that shows that women generally tend to live longer, then you understand that it's important for women to also have some kind of financial security. Now, when you also consider the fact that women tend to drop off the career ladder early or before men or somewhere along the line, then you understand that for women, as quickly or as early as you can start, the better for you, because there's still a life beyond retirement that you need to factor in, and then there are those bumps along the way that you need to consider.
So talking about, how women will drop off earlier than men, even though more men will exit the earth before the women. So can you tell us some very unique challenges that women face there, what they're trying to balance their financial goals with other life priorities, like marriage? Sometimes when they get married, they can't go to school anymore, so education is there, and of course this family and work and life balance. What do they come up against?
So you've sort of highlighted it. The first thing is that for the average woman, by the time she gets into the stage of marriage, it sort of slows her down. If, for example, all the guys are hanging out in the evening, you have to go home, and those are where those decisions are being made, or where you are in front of the boss, and if you keep going home, the fact is that you can easily get forgotten. Then you now bring in pregnancy, bring in that year where you're pregnant and your maternity. Even if you were due for promotion before that, there's a very high chance that there'll be a question of how can you be promoting someone that is on maternity leave.
She's not there.
Yeah,
they say the formula is who no day, no day.
Exactly. So these are real life issues, and they hit women a lot. So when we're saying it's not just about starting, it's about starting as early as possible before those bumps begin to come in. And then when you now factor in the fact that for a lot of families, especially in Africa, if a woman is doing well, there are lots of people clawing on her, right? And so the bigger you appear to be, the more responsibilities you have than the average. So there are a lot of things that are pulling women back.
Wow. It seems like maybe they are the disadvantaged, like the way you're talking about it now, like they are a disadvantage, sort of.
So I would say that a woman probably needs to work harder or put in more than the average, because if you just bring out that whole being pregnant alone is a job.
Yeah.
Right? Having a child alone is a job. Now, even though your husband supports you, blah blah blah, he just can't help you. You have to go through that. But then you have to keep showing up. You have to gather yourself to recover and show up at work. Right? So there are those pressures, right, that women have, that a man, there's nothing he can do. He can't have those kind of pressures.
All right. So with what you've just explained now, can you tell us the financial strategies that this woman we're talking about now can now put in place so that she can align her career growth with these long-term wealth building goals? Because women, majority of the women I've spoken to, don't want to depend on anybody. They want to make their own money. They want to be financially independent. But here lies the problem. So what can she do?
The first thing is to start early. On average, at least in 2025, most women are not going to get married at 21. You start seeing those marriage events around 25, 26, 27. So those years where you're not doing anything, you're not getting married or you're single, it's not a time for buying hair, Unfortunately, it's usually the time when people buy hair, or travel the world and say they are free. But if in the midst of all that, which is life, you can actually start early in terms of putting away money, learning how to invest, buying that plot of land that you can just forget about. It's actually very important. So I would say starting early. Another thing also is negotiation. Being able to speak up for yourself at work, being able to play the office game to get ahead, right? You actually have to have your own strategy, and you have to be intentional about it. Why? Because if you want to invest, you have to invest money. So you have to make the money somehow or the other. So I'd say with these two strategies and starting them as early as possible, and understanding that as a woman there will be some bumps that you would face just by being a woman. So you have to not act like the guy that is sitting down beside you, right? And play your game faster. If that's the word, yeah.
In case you're joining us now, we're discussing empowering women to build wealth. And Oler Oladele is the guest in the studio. It's Money Talks coming to you. It's a financial literacy program by CFA Society Nigeria. If you're a woman, or even if you're a man, you know one woman out there, you want to join the conversation, you can call us on the telephone number 0700 923 923 923. That's the number to call, 0700 923 923 923. You can also call us on the WhatsApp number 0817 313 6193. That's 0817 313 6193. Send a WhatsApp message to us to that same number, or just record a voice note and send to us. If you know how to empower a woman to build wealth, or you're a woman yourself, you're seeking to be empowered to build wealth, you can join the program this evening by any of those platforms. So Ola, how should women then approach financial planning with their partners before they get married and after they are married? Because finance becomes an issue when the woman becomes married.
So before marriage, I would say it's important to have your onions in place, like know yourself, right? And have your own sense of financial security and stability. Because the reality is that we can say when you get into marriage, plan with your spouse and all that, which is the ideal. But for a lot of people, the ideal hasn't really panned out, either through separation, divorce, bad experiences and all. So I would say the first thing as a woman is to work on your financial independence, your career, your business, whatever it is that is generating money for you. Work on building it as quickly as possible. And then when you get into marriage, the ideal recommendation, because one can chase 1,000 to 10,000, right? So it's better if you both can work towards financial goals together, right? So if you're in a position where that can happen, then go ahead, have those plans together. If you double one versus you double two, it moves faster, if you understand what I mean. However, if you are not in that situation, then you see that fallback plan, that skill that you have, that career that you can run to, those are the things that will be your fallback plan. So before, if you are not yet in it, because there's a different conversation if you are in it. If you're not yet in it, then you need to actually wake up. You need to actually begin to put money aside. Conversation around disclosure is subject to you and your comfort level, but at the minimum, have it.
And when she's with a partner who kind of feels insecure, sometimes the woman will tell you, my husband is not disposed to my all of this, my wealth quest and all of that. How does she deal with that? Some of the men don't want you to have as much money as they have, let alone having more money than they have. So when she starts to make progress in her career, it becomes a problem. Sometimes they're even asked to choose, between that your wealth chase and this family.
So, the fact is, if you're not yet married, then I think that's a red flag. Please run.
You may never know.
Because the reality in life is that if you ask any couple that has been married for a while, you realize that sometimes someone has to step in for the other, right? Rough patches happen. So anyone that is feeling like he can handle it all every day, all day, he's not really thinking far, and he's probably working with an image that is not real. Or maybe parents where the mother was the one funding and he did not know because she made it seem like it was the father, if you understand what I mean. But in reality in life, there are those bumps, right? So everyone should be able to stand on their own. So if you see someone who is trying to stress you in the future and you are not yet married, it's just good to take a walk. However, if you're already in it, I don't know, the ball is in your court. You have to make your choices, right? Some women have said, no, I choose my life, I choose my freedom, and they go. And some women say, okay, I'll stay for my kids. Everyone is entitled to their decisions, but in the end, it's your choice to make.
0700 923 923 923. You can call that number 0700 923 923 923. You can also call us via the WhatsApp number or just send us a WhatsApp message 0817 313 6193. That's 0817 313 6193. Make a WhatsApp call there, or you can send a WhatsApp message to that number. You're welcome to participate. Building wealth, empowering women to build wealth is what we're discussing here this evening. So even if you're not a woman, you know an ought about it, you can join the conversation here. So Ola, what are some beginner-friendly investment options that I can recommend for the women who are listening, or for those who have women in their lives and who want to help to build wealth?
Okay, the first thing I would say about that, in my experience, because I provide financial education, is that one thing that I find very common with women is that lack of knowledge. That I don't know where to start from. Everything just seems so confusing, and because of that, they just keep the money in their account till someone comes to ask for it and they give it out. But the man will still try, even if he doesn't really get it, he will still try. So I would say the first thing is that for women, you need to open your mind up, right? It's not that hard. But then in terms of actual opportunities, in Nigeria as we are right now, there's the federal government savings bond that is offered every month. I mean, it should be open right now. Any stockbroker would offer you with 5,000 naira you can invest. That's like beginner friendly. All you need to do really is to open the account with the stockbroker and to fill a form. It's that easy. There's no technical, there's nothing, no analysis to do, right? It's federal government. Your money is not going anywhere there. It's safe, right? Now, another thing that you could do on the back of that, there are the treasury bills, there are the bonds, all those ones are available. Asset managers would give you access to that. Then, of course, stocks, right? Now, women like, stocks. But, I mean, generally, globally, the stock market is the largest generator of wealth consistently over time. Like, if you are not in a hurry, and you just keep putting money. And I'm sure we all know that father or grandfather who, when you want to do this, you go and sell some stocks and give you the money. And it's always almost like it's a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because he was doing something consistently for years and it has worked for him. So the stock market, if you can sit down with a stockbroker and they give you a couple of stocks and you just keep buying 5k, right, or 10k, whatever you can do over time. I think the major mindset to adopt is that little here, little there, as against waiting for that big money. And if you think about it, when you're buying your hair, you will collect the hair, you'll not be paying back small. But if you ask you how much that hair is, it can be a lot, right? So just apply that principle in something that would also give you value, like in the future. And then maybe the last thing is mutual funds. Asset managers also, they are doing the work for you. You are not doing any research. Your major thing is make sure that it's a reputable asset manager and buy their funds. With 5k, you can start. With 1k, you can keep increasing.
And some women have said it's easier for the man to walk into a financial institution and he's getting loans, he's getting credit. Many times the woman cannot go there and get the same service as quickly, or she may not even get it at all.
So I think things are changing on that front. And I would say that because for most Nigerian banks right now, they have a package or a program for women, specifically for women. Now, the reason why that was happening in the past is that whole falling off the grid as they build on their careers, where you drop off because you're pregnant, and then by the time you come back, you don't have the collateral to give, you don't have any of those things, right? Now, what has happened is that a lot of these programs are tailored to suit women and the kind of collateral or the information that they would readily have available. So those things are changing. So walk into your bank and ask them, as against a general loan, ask them if they have any programs or packages for women. Most banks do already.
They do. Okay, a message here. This is Joy. Joy says, how will I know where and how will I know the proper place to invest my money, as there are so many stories of people losing their money, their hard-earned money, to investments?
So like the ones I just listed right now, savings bond is Nigerian government. It's not going anywhere. If you check, most times the people that are losing their money, they went to Oler and Sons, right? Or they went to someone that created a pretty website, but they don't know who the person is, which is why everything I've listed here, they are SEC-regulated companies, and they are giving you legitimate, stable. They will not give you the 30% per annum and the 100% per annum, but slowly and surely. And the good thing also, actually, to put it out there right now, is that FGN bonds, the savings bonds, their rates are actually quite high right now. FGN bond is at 22%, treasury bills effective yield around 25, everything above 20. The moment you want to do more than 20%, it's getting towards armed robbery. You understand? So savings bond is at 18 on your 5,000 naira. So that's actually not bad.
Okay, we'll have a voice note here.
Good evening, Inspiration FM. Well done. I appreciate your advice on this topic. And I want to know do you have any location, any genuine location where one can buy a land cheap? Actually, I'm a single person, but I am interested in purchasing a piece of land that we appreciate in future. So please, I need your advice on it. And if there is any way you can guide me, that would be nice as well, because there are a lot of the ones that are not people are fraudulent all over, so I wouldn't want to fall in the hand of any of them. I will listen for your advice. Thank you.
So of course I don't even know where you are listening in from, so I can't say, I don't know what affordable looks like to you. However, what I would say is this: a lot of times when people get into fraud when it comes to real estate is that they do not get an independent lawyer to do due diligence, to check that particular plot of land. Who is the actual owner? Is there any family dispute on this land? What kind of documentation do they have from the government? Have the documents been properly done? You know, all those things. And who is the person reputable, right? Those are the questions to ask. But the general answer is that anywhere you see land, it can be bought and it can be sold. The major thing is that legal due diligence. But a lot of people don't want to spend that money because it will cost you money to actually do that due diligence. They want to be told that you can trust someone, but that's not how it is. And then when you buy, you perfect the title, meaning that you actually follow the process to make that property, to put that property in the land registry in your name. That is only then that you can say that you own a property.
Wow. And that's some process.
Yes,
okay,
it is.
As we begin to wrap up, Ola, what role do you think financial literacy can play in helping women to make informed decisions? Because you're just talking about now what you have to do, the process you have to follow, to make that land yours. Really, it's information. This information, they need to make these decisions that will secure their future.
So I think for me, the example that always comes to my mind about power of financial literacy, I had someone in my community who came in. She was a doctor, a consultant, like senior consultant, but she did not know where to find her tax.
Wow.
Like she didn't know what her tax ID was. She didn't know any of those things. But what she did was that she kept asking questions. And today she's actually investing in venture capital.
Oh, wow.
Meaning that she can critique an investment and say, no, this doesn't make sense. No, this makes sense. I think this can work. She can actually analyze. She will say, oh, there was one that, I bought land somewhere. She just came I saw this property. These are my considerations. I got a lawyer. I got a this. I got a that. Now, what the impact of financial literacy is that it empowers you. But a lot of people act like they were born being able to manage money. That is the first problem. So they don't know they should be asking questions. They just assume, oh, it just looks okay. The person sounds convincing, and so I would go along with it. But that's not that's not the way to go. For everything you want to put your money in, you need to actually take some time to learn and know if it is even for you at this time. Because the lady saying that she wants to buy real estate, you might check and she might have an obligation that is due in a year. If you have an obligation due in a year, you shouldn't be buying real estate because the property might not appreciate in value in that time. So by the time you are selling, you might be selling, and by the time you do all those transfer charges, you are in a loss.
Wow.
So there's a lot of education but you have to start. You actually have to focus on, I want to learn about money and take decisions in that direction.
The time to start is now.
Yes.
0700-923-923-923. The number that you can call, or you can call our WhatsApp line 0817-313-6193. That's 0817-313-6193. You can also send a WhatsApp message to that number, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note there and just keep it short and simple. So we'll have another message here. This message says, what about investing as a married couple? What's your advice on that? Investing as a married couple.
So investing in a married couple is good. The only thing I would say from experience or from conversations with lawyer, make sure that the contract clearly states Captain Smart and Mrs. Fola Smart. Like, don't say Mr. and Mrs. Smart. Make sure that your two names are clearly stated in that investment, because for legal, for even not even in terms of issues and all that, in terms of estate planning, right, the way it works is eventually one person will leave, right? You are not going to be on this earth forever, right? So at that point, the ownership automatically transfers to the person that is alive. But if it's in one person's name, you will have to go through a probate, blah blah blah, to get access to that asset. So I would say that if you guys decide you want to go together, that is good and it's fantastic, but make sure that your documentation actually reflects both people's names, both parties' names individually.
And not Mr. and Mrs.
Not Mr. and Mrs.
Okay. Another message here says, good evening, Captain Smart. Is it possible for your guest to please give me the contact of one FG bond? I need to place some money. Binga is in Aja.
One FG bond, let me take it to mean that you're asking for where you can buy FGN bonds. I would say the easiest way to start is look for any bank that you trust. They will probably have a stockbroking arm or an asset management arm. Just walk in or download their apps. They all have apps right now, and you can start from there. The money will not disappear.
And these interest rates you talked about, people have said if you go to all these conventional banks or these big banks you're talking about that they trust, the interest rates are usually very low. But some organization down the road, they can promise you good interest rates, and they've been there for years.
As long as they've been there for years and they are regulated by the SEC, the SEC is the Securities and Exchange Commission, right? Then it's fine. But if they've not been there for years and there's no regulator that knows them, then understand that high return is a reward for high risk. And high risk means that there's a high chance that your money will disappear.
Wow.
So if you are fine with that chance that your money will disappear, then go ahead. But if they are not known, I dare say you should stay away.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ola. Unfortunately, this is where we're going to call it a wrap this evening. In case you've been listening to us, empowering women to build wealth. That's what we're talking about. And Oler Oladele has been our guest on the program this evening. It's been quite an education here. You would agree with me. And Ola, I must thank you so much for your time on the radio this evening. And we'll hope to have you again very soon. And that's our package on Money Talks, brought to you by CFA Society Nigeria, a financial literacy program. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again next time. Till then, keep making finance a force for good. Captain Smart is my name.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Money Talks, hosted by the CFA Society Nigeria. Stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube at CFA Society Nigeria. Follow us for more financial insight and update. Keep a date with us next time.